Hey everyone, it's Orange. Welcome to TOA Hard Stage 80 Artamiel Part 2. So I already beat this floor 2 months ago. This video is very late, I apologize for that, but I still think it's worth doing because if Artamiel shows up high up in TOA Hard in the future, this video might help people who have the water homunculus built. So when this floor actually existed 2 months ago, I managed to beat it with Veramos instead of the water homunculus, but I had to give that team some of my best runes to make it work. And I've been clearing TOA hard for 10 months, maybe 11 at this point. I think at that point in time it was 10 months. So I had those 10 months to farm better runes and get stronger in time for this floor to appear. So I'm not a newbie by any means, and my runes aren't newbie runes for TOA hard. So I had to give that team some of my best runes to work out, and the cherry on top is that that team wasn't even very successful. I believe I had 10 to 15 fails before I managed to pass the floor, which really sucked, but I was grinding it and I knew that eventually I would get good enough RNG for it to work out, so I was able to pass it, and I did that a lot when I was first clearing TOA normal and TOA hard. I would grind out floors because I knew it was possible as long as I got okay RNG. So I know sometimes people complain on my videos and they're like, you got really good violent procs or something. Sometimes you gotta grind, and I've done that a ton in the past, even for TOA normal. So it's not like it's not a ridiculous concept or anything like that if you really want to pass these floors. And I definitely think it's worth it to get that Light and Dark scroll and that legendary scroll, because you need to be summoning to get some Nat 5s, some Nat 4s, whatever, because those are really helpful and they'll help you in progression, and especially if you have any arena ambitions or guild wars ambitions, Nat 5s are gonna be the thing that you need. You can get away with some Nat 4s and stuff like that, but of course Nat 5s are OP, and some light dark Nat 4s. So let's go ahead and talk about this floor. This team that I'm using right now with the water homunculus has much lower rune requirements than the Veramos team that I used, and I'm using it much in the same fashion. The water homunculus is functioning as a stronger Veramos, pretty much, as a mini Verad, if you will. So the turn ordering I think is pretty important. I talked about this in my Veramos video. I like to have Spectra moving first, just so he gets that slow out as soon as possible to slow them down as soon as possible. I have Spectra on Violent just to continuously apply that slow. He might Violent proc and get that slow out more, get that attack bar pushback, because he does push the attack bars back a little bit if he lands it with the accuracy check on his slow. Violent I don't think is necessary. It might be hurting him a little bit because, as we can see, he's critting and getting revenged on, so that might kind of be a downside, but I do think it helps. So definitely test out Violent if you can give your Spectra a Violent set, a fast Violent set, for this floor. So Spectra moves first. Next I have the homunculus moving because he has the most reliable CC on the team. Unfortunately, 2 of the enemies are wind, so he might glance on them and not freeze them, but he has I think glancing is a pretty small chance, so I like to have him move because the best thing you can do for this floor is stun everything, because everything's going to revenge on you. Artamiel you can't stun, and even if you taunt him, he will still revenge. I don't think he will if you use Tessarian and disable his passive, but I don't know how worth it Tessarian will be on this floor, how much he actually brings to it just by being Tessarian. The monkeys have an interesting passive, which Tessarian would help with too, and even the Yetis, so that might kind of work, but I've never tested it. So the homunculus moves and freezes most things. That way some stuff is frozen and Beretta probably won't get revenged on too much. And then Beretta moves, gets out his dots. I think it's important to get those dots out soon. Then I have Bella moving. So if we look at our team, 3 out of our 4 monsters have moved, and they may have taken some revenge damage. Bella can choose to heal up, and then Mav moves after her. Mav moving last has always worked out really well for me because you know which big skills you use. Generally, first turn, you're going to use all of your big skills. Spectra slow, homunculus AoE freeze, because mine is BDC with that AoE freeze, and Beretta's dots. So the natural flow and rhythm of things works out that way if you have Mav move last, and it takes the rune burden off of you So you can give Mav slow runes. I've heard some people suggest to make Mav move first, but I think that's just too high rune requirements. Mav is supposed to be a tank, he's supposed to taunt things and take damage. My Mav is not built very well in this video, so he takes a lot of damage. Well, maybe it was this video or another one, but no, I think right now he's not built too well. But it's just easy if you can build him with HP defense, maybe some resist, 45% accuracy, and you don't even have to worry about speed, because if you throw speed in there, the runes you need to put on him are going to have to be damn good runes, which I think are going to work better on Bella and other stuff like that, maybe even Spectra, because my Bella and Spectra are supports. In this video, I don't have Spectra built as a damage dealer. Spectra naturally does damage because of his scaling, his HP scaling on his second. So yeah, Mav moving last, that's the turn order that I like. In my Veramos video, the turn order was a bit different. I had Beretta move first, because if you have Vero move first, nothing is stunned on the enemy team, and Vero most likely will crit things. He's gonna have Artamiel revenging on him, it's gonna be nasty. But if Beretta moves first, the monkeys have elemental disadvantage against Beretta, so they shouldn't do too much damage to Beretta, and it's just nicer that way. Beretta might not crit on things and cause Artamiel to revenge. I believe Artamiel revenges on the crit if you crit an enemy. You guys can always look that information up on the Summoner's War Wiki, along with the scalings they have. So I'm constantly defense breaking Artamiel because his damage scales off defense, and you want to reduce that damage that he does to you, because he's revenging nearly every single time you attack, which is crazy. I think it's just on the crit though, maybe? So yeah. Also, I defense break the Yetis because they also have a defense scaling on their second skill, I believe. So do that. And I avoided critting for the most part. I was kind of thinking about the monkeys because they revenge if you hit their allies, but the strategy that worked for me was just avoiding crits. So if you're using Veramos, do not hit the light monsters with him if you don't have to. If you're stomping, if you're using Veramos' AoE, of course you have to use that, but hopefully things are already stunned by that point in time. Hopefully Beretta got some to spare stuns, and hopefully Veramos actually lands some of his stuns too. With my fire monsters, I'm not hitting the wind monsters at all. I'm hitting the light monsters with them. And then, like I said, if I had Veramos, I would avoid hitting the light monsters. And that worked out really well, I think, to reduce the overall damage the enemy team was doing. And right there, I kind of messed up. I did make some mistakes. I think he healed up there because I wasn't quite paying attention to my skills very well, and I used an incorrect skill when I shouldn't have. Eventually, I'm able to kill him, though, and there are some variations of this team where a certain monster can die and you can still beat this floor. If you lose 2 monsters, I think your odds of passing this are pretty slim, but I lost the homunculus and I'm still able to beat it. And I think earlier, because like I said, I passed this floor with this team a couple times, I wanted to test the consistency of it. I think I lost a different one, maybe I lost Spectra or Mav, I can't remember, and I still was able to pass the floor. I think if you lose Bella, it's probably going to be over, because even though you have Mav taunting him, he's revenging so much, he's gonna kill stuff no matter what. So I think you need Bella for sure. Maybe it was Beretta that I lost. I keep naming off all these variations, but I think maybe I lost Beretta. I don't remember. So I would always just play it out, though. I always like to play things out, even if it's doomed or you think it's doomed, you might be able to pull out a win and surprise yourself. You might get that extremely lucky RNG that allows you to pass that you didn't think you'd get, but you did. So yeah, just playing it out here, and he'll die pretty soon, and that was pretty much Artamiel. I just wanted to show you guys this team that I use with the homunculus that has a higher success rate than the Veramos team. This month will be the last month that I do TOA hard videos, so this one is either going to be the last one or the second to last one. I might do Sierra, I think she's on 80 this month, and it's already almost over, so I've just been super slacking on TOA hard videos. But yeah, I've just gotten too good at TOA hard. Not too good at it, but it's just my rune quality. My mental capacity at TOA hard has always been the same. It's just my runes that have improved. So I'm pretty much autoing all of TOA hard except for boss floors, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and then maybe a couple other floors in there, 2 to 3 other floors I have to manual. So yeah, TOA hard is on lockdown. We got it on auto. Eventually, I think in the future, I'll probably progress to a YOLO team with like Amir and maybe the dot homunculus or maybe Thrain just to make it fast. I'm not quite sure though, but I'm using kind of a slower auto team right now, and it's just not really worth it for me to show boss floors because my runes are so good. I guess I could take other people's accounts and do it, but I'm not really into that. I don't think I'd enjoy that too much. I think, you know, I've done enough TOA hard videos, and I've wrapped it up nicely. TOA normal has been laid to rest, and I think it's time for TOA hard to be laid to rest. Oh wait, we have to show runes. So we'll go over runes real quick, and glory shot buildings. So in this video, I changed my monsters since this, so they're kind of worse now because I put some of my runes on my PvP monsters. Beretta is a very standard Beretta. Here is my homunculus, named kind of a fire name, but he's water. So I have him, I gave him some of my best despair runes because I wanted him moving first and being tanky enough for that floor. So my runes actually might be pretty damn good for this floor because the homunculus even died and he looked pretty good right there with those runes. I do recall giving him some of my best runes, and that revenge on him is really nice because of his first skill. He can revenge and freeze everything on that revenge. Mav revenge is good too because you can revenge things and stun them. And I think those were all the runes. We're going to go over glory shot buildings. They may be pretty close to maxed at this point. I kind of forgot. Yeah, I've upgraded a few of those in the meantime, but in this video, this is what they were. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory that TOA hard is, you know, it's not really worth doing videos on it anymore. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video and maybe found it helpful. That was about it, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will catch you guys later.